All right, good morning. It is February 2024, and it's true. The 20% Dream for All program is back. I feel like we've been saying it's coming back for months, and I felt like a liar, but now it really is back. So this is the official, we have the guidelines and everything. So Fiona is superstar lender. I'm Sammy. I'm a realtor. We love working with folks of all buying in all stages of their buying journey. And this is a great program for first-time homebuyers. So just wanted to, make sure that we're sharing accurate information. It looks a little bit different than it did in 2023. So just wanted to run through that. So yeah, Fiona, what's the Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program?
Great. Yeah. So CalHFA went back to the drawing board after was a little bit of a chaotic launch of the original program, but they've got over $200 million to share. They're going to do it with a shared appreciation loan. A lot of it looks similar, but there are some stricter requirements. So essentially, it's a 20% down payment or closing costs, and they are not to exceed $150,000. Homebuyers are this time going to have to register for a voucher. It's in a randomized drawing, so a lottery, if you will. And they will select registrants who will receive this voucher. And then it's not a first come, first serve program. So you have to reach out to someone like myself who is qualified and approved with CalHFA to get your pre-approval. And then you must enter this lottery, and that lottery will launch in April. And so the key is, okay, so, how will you qualify? And beyond, can I qualify for the loan? One borrower must be a first generation home buyer. This is tripping a lot of people up. But essentially, if you have the idea is that they're looking for people who do not have a home to inherit. Okay, so if you have parents who have owned a home and they don't currently own a home, then this is probably for you. There are some ins and outs on that, but that's why you've got to get with one of us to so that we can dig through the details. And there will be a verification of this. You will have to sign an affidavit saying that you do not have a parent or family member that owns a home. So, and there are some tricky questions that can allow you to qualify. For example, if you're a parent and you don't own a home, but your parents did, and your 18-year-old daughter wants to buy a home and you want to buy together, you can do that because your daughter is technically a first-generation home borrower. So that's the understanding of that. All borrowers must be a first-time home buyer. And this is a little different in that a lot of our first-time home buyer programs, just one of you have to be a first-time home buyer. In this case, everybody on that loan has to be a first-time home buyer. And a first-time home buyer is somebody who has not owned a home in the last 3 years. So if you own an investment property, but you do not own a primary home, so for example, say you went in with your brothers or sisters and you bought a second home in somewhere else, but you have never owned a primary residence, you are still a first-time home buyer. Your income must be at or below 100% of the area median income for the county that you're purchasing in. This trips a lot of people up as well, because what does that mean? How do we know what that is? Well, so these are calculations. This slide is a little bit wonky, but you can kind of see that in LA County, which is where we do a lot of business, $155,000 a year is going to be your max. Some of the other places, San Diego, 185. We do a lot in Orange. Let's see, yes, hello, my alphabet. Orange is going to be 202,000. So if, we've got this in a PDF, and we can, reach out to us and we can dig through and clarify that. So you do have to do homebuyer education, right? And so this is going to be a specific homebuyer education for the Dream loan. Contact us. We can get you that link. And then, wait a minute, what does shared appreciation mean? Okay, so if you are, so for 20% of the purchase, right? So if the homeowner pays back the original loan plus 20% of any appreciation in the value of the home. So for example, you own a home, you stay in it for 3 years, you sell it, and there's $100,000 in appreciation. Well, 20% of that appreciation, $20,000, is going to have to go back to CalHFA in addition to the 20% down payment loan that you took out. Okay. If you are actually at or below 80% of the area median income, meaning I believe in LA County, that's like $44,000, $46,000 a year. There's actually, it's a less, you're going to pay back less appreciation rather than 1-to-1. It's actually sort of like 0.75% of that. So it's, we can dig down into the details of it. If somebody qualifies for that, we can kind of try to do the math a little bit. But these are the nuts and bolts of the program. Some pretty big changes. It's up to $150,000. You cannot put in 20% of your own money, right? So that was a problem last time. You can put 5% of the purchase price of your own money, and that works out fine. So any questions? I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen so that we can chat.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Fiona. These are really good details on, just kind of the nuts and bolts of who qualifies. So my question is, so number one, I think people know that you have to work with the approved lenders that CalHFA has on their website. I obviously want folks to just reach out to you directly because you've actually been working with CalHFA way before the shared appreciation loan even came out. We do the 3% CalHFA loan all the time. So if somebody submits to you and they don't happen to qualify for this particular program, you already have like 5 other programs that they might
Yeah.
qualify
and
for.
CalHFA is not the only down payment assistance program out there. There are a lot of county programs, they do happen to have the bond program down, and they are, I'm a huge advocate for CalHFA, but this is not the only thing. And if you get pre-approved and you don't make it into the lottery,
Right.
the nice thing is you now know what you do qualify for. And I think that's the most important piece that we learned from the last round was people came out of the woodwork to see like, oh my gosh, 20%, like we can get this down payment. And what we realized with so many people was there are so many more people who are ready for home ownership than they don't understand or believe in it, because the media hypes us up and makes us think that everything is so unaffordable, where really it's like, okay, what's affordable for you? And and there are ways that we can work with people, and sometimes it takes us a little bit to get there, but there's no better time than today to get that going.
Yeah, we have tons of people on like 6-month, 8-month, 12-month timelines, like they're working on credit or they're paying down debt, or they're about to, their business is going to make more money next year, or we have folks like all along the timeline. And last year, 2023, a bad year for real estate, we helped 17 people buy a home. So what was cool about the CalHFA, media hype was like people did come and get pre-approved, and some people lost out and like, because the program ran out of money in like 10 days.
Yeah.
But other people realized, we don't need this. Like we're already good to go, and kind of dipped their toe into homeownership that way. So that's what I'm hoping will happen this year. But I do want to first see if people qualify for this, because it is a really great program. But it, just then, hey, well, if I don't get this, what are my options?
Right.
So since it's different, and it's not kind of like a first come, first serve, I know that sort of like urgency of like get your application in, is not as high as last year. So what's the process? Yeah, because there's a deadline to get your application in, and then the lottery. So very clearly, can you lay out what are the dates that people need to get stuff into you by?
Yeah, absolutely. Like reach out now. But that lottery will take place in April. And you have to be approved with a CalHFA lender. We have to actually have you get a certificate that you apply to the lottery with. So that has to happen, I would say, as soon as you possibly can. I think, it's actually very easy to apply for a home loan. It's not, you know, the process of sort of, opening up your financial, your bowels, it's like, what do you call it? A colonoscopy, Sammy?
Yeah, I call it the
Colonoscopy.
financial colonoscopy
Right. So that
because it's
process
like
isn't really pleasant for a lot of people, but I think we actually make it very easy for people and very friendly, because we see so many things that, trust me, we probably have seen everything. And so it's nothing to really, worry about. We just take a look at your W-2s, your pay stubs, and essentially your credit history. And then we lay out what you can and can't do, what we might need to do in order to, make the situation better. But I think that everybody is probably getting their W-2s in the mail today. Put them aside, take a picture, send me the W-2, and we're halfway there. So it's pretty simple. We can definitely get, the application linked. So the way that I'm running this process this time, because last time got a little bit chaotic for us, we are actually prioritizing people who put applications in first. So we will take the application, work through the application, reach out to the borrower, have full conversation about what their goals are, fill in any gaps. And during that call, we will go over scenarios for what price points are possible, where their desired monthly payment are, and work from there. And then from there, we get the pre-approval letter, submit to the lottery. I also think they need to have a conversation with you so that we can set things up so that as soon as this goes live, we're ready to go, and we don't, miss that opportunity.
awesome. Yeah. And submitting an application is literally, it's just your link and it's like your name, your income,
Right. Yeah.
you
So
can
we'll
upload
ask for
documents.
the basics for an application are obviously name, birth date, social security number, your phone number, and then we're going to ask for your employment history. And then you will submit 2 years of W-2s, 30 days of pay stubs, 2 months of bank statements, and a photo ID. If you're self-employed, it's a little bit more detailed, but that's basically it.
Very
And it
cool.
does not take me very long at all to do that review. So what we'll do is the minute that application comes in, you will also set up a schedule. You will schedule a meeting with me
Cool.
so that I know this is the date that this pre-approval will be done. And then I meet with you with the pre-approval, and then we go from there. So
Perfect.
we should be able to get through these pretty quickly, and get people going.
So do we know when the lottery goes live? Like when's the deadline to get your application in?
So the actual date is, okay, so they don't have an actual drop
Okay.
dead date, but the
They
key,
just
I
put
think,
the,
for everybody is to get their education done,
oh yeah.
and because that will be good for a year. So even if you don't, use Dream for All, you've got your education certificate. That program is quite simple. It's online. I think there may be $100 charge for it, with the HUD approved program. But that you can recoup when you you can use that towards your closing as a closing
Okay.
cost to be recouped.
Cool.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and that requirement, so like for example, if somebody applies for the CalHFA Dream for All program, but then I don't know, doesn't get picked in the lottery or whatever, they can still, I mean, most people will probably still qualify for the 3% program. And
Yes.
so that requirement is that home buyer
That is
education
required as
is
well. So you
required
can
for
use
that
that
too. Okay.
certificate towards any other. And actually, several of the other non-CalHFA programs, so like GSFA and some of the other down payment
Right.
assistance programs, they all use a HUD-approved educator. And so
Okay.
that certificate will be good for those as well.
Okay, cool. So essentially, so you don't just take the class, but once you've talked to Fiona and it seems like you're going to qualify for one of these programs, you might as well take it because then it's good for a year. And then
Yes.
we're not
Yeah.
trying to, because when you're trying to do that while we're in escrow, it's not
Yeah.
fun. But if you're done,
It's-
it's, taken care of. we're trying to front load everything this time because it did get hectic, but we
Yeah.
were able to get some folks into the program, but it was like those people were already like had
They were
already
ready to
submitted
go.
everything. They were
Yeah.
already ready to go. They weren't just getting into the mix. So
Yeah.
ultimately it seems like in my opinion there's really no downside to submitting a loan application. Like you're not even, it's not even affecting your credit. Like you're just submitting some documents, you're just checking like, hey, what do I qualify for?
Yeah.
And then, can be routed to this. But I appreciate the new guidelines for this program because it got real like 20%, but it's like, well, there's a process, and I don't like to just throw out bait information. What is it like? Oh, come! It's like, no,
Yeah.
let's talk
Yeah.
about what it really looks like to get
What do you got?
qualified for
Bait and
this.
switch.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No, I think genuinely, the guidelines are pretty clear this time. I will say the first generation home buyer component will eliminate a lot of people, but don't let that discourage you from that's only this program. All the other programs, you just need to have at least one home buyer that is a first time home buyer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so our information is in the information below. I'm Sammy, this is Fiona. Feel free to schedule a call with us. If you're specifically interested in this program, you're going to want to submit the application link to Fiona. And at that time, you can also schedule a call with her. So
Yeah.
she'll like have you in the list. But
And for sure, you can
definitely,
email and call me if you have questions,
sure.
but we'll do like the full length, dig
Yeah,
in after we have the application. Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Fiona. Appreciate it.
Thanks.